Hi, in this lesson we're going to be talking about network ports and network protocols. So these are two very important aspects of networking, but they're not something you're thinking about all the time necessarily, but it is something you need to know about. So we're going to start with network ports first. So network ports are logical endpoints for communication between devices on a network. They are identified by numbers ranging from 0 to 65,535. Each port is associated with a specific service, such as HTTP, which you've probably heard before, port 80. Then you also have HTTPS, port 443. Then also the common FTP ports, port 21, and then also port 20 sometimes as well. And then, of course, SSH, port 22. So how it works is when a device sends a packet of data over the network, it specifies a port number in the header of the packet and tells the receiving device which service on the destination device should handle the packet. So this is why you could send, all your network data down one cable and it knows what to do with it when it gets to the other end, because it looks at that header in the packet there and reads the port number, and then it decides where to send it after that. All right, so ports can be used for things like identifying services that are running on a computer or other network device. So that way the device could run multiple services without interfering with each other, such as like a server that does more than just, act as a file server or an Active Directory server, that type of thing. It could also be used for filtering traffic, because you could use your firewall to filter on port numbers, so you could allow or disallow certain services through your firewall based on the port numbers. Then, of course, load balancing. Load balancers can distribute traffic across multiple servers based on the port numbers, which can improve the performance and reliability of applications. Okay, so now we have some of the more common ports, and there are probably some that are not super common, but I threw them in there anyways. So you'll be able to find this in the resources if you want to download a copy for yourself here. So like I said before, 2021, FTP, we just saw SSH 22, you probably heard of SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol used to send email. We've talked about DNS before, port 53. Then we just talked about port 80 for HTTP for your web pages. 110 is also used for email. Then you have your IMAP and your SNMP, and on and on and on. Then you can see a little lower down, maybe there's some that you haven't heard of before, like 587 submission or 843 for web services. But if you get yourself familiar with the basic ports, which are probably near the top of this list here, you should be doing just fine. Okay, now let's switch over to network protocols. So network protocols are a set of rules and standards that govern how devices communicate with each other over the network. They define the format of the data packets, how packets are routed to their destination, and how errors are handled. And one of the crucial things about protocols is that they allow devices from different manufacturers with different operating systems to communicate with each other. So, if the protocols are just a standard format, then it doesn't matter if you're running Windows or Mac or on your Android smartphone. The protocol is a protocol, and they know how to talk to each other. Okay, so network protocols can be divided into different categories, such as transport protocols, TCP and UDP. You've probably heard of those. Routing protocols, such as OSPF and BGF, which is Open Shortest Path First, and Border Gateway Protocol. Then you have your link layer protocols, define how packets are transmitted over physical medium, such as Ethernet and Wi-Fi. Even though wireless is not really physical, it's still physical devices that are controlling the Wi-Fi process. And of course, Ethernet, Ethernet cables and Ethernet switches and the like. Okay, so now we have some common network protocols. So this will be in the resources as well. Some of these might not be so common as we get down the list too, so just keep that in mind. So HTTP, for example, you've used that all the time. You've probably seen that in your web browser. It's the protocol used for transferring web pages and related files over the internet. Then you have HTTPS, this is the secure version. Then FTP again. And we've talked about Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. POP3 used for email. IMAP used for email. We've talked about DNS many times, resolving domain names to IP addresses. We've also talked about DHCP for assigning IP addresses to your hosts, like your computers. And we've even talked about SNMP, which you'll have to use for monitoring and managing your network, especially if you get into the network field specifically. And then we have some other ones down the list here. that you could download the file and check them out for yourself and kind of study up on them. So as you can see, there's quite a bit to network ports and protocols, but you're probably surprised that you actually knew more than you thought you did after reviewing some of the various ports and protocols that are in use today. Probably didn't realize what they were until you watched this video. So if you don't want to be like this guy in the picture getting frustrated, it's a good idea to get these memorized and to understand what they do, at least the more common ones, so when you have problems or if somebody asks you a question, you'll have the right answer for them.